Let's continue our conversation about passwords with a focus on the iCloud keychain. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Let me move out of the way so you can consider this question. Have you evaluated your password health? Hopefully you've seen the video that I posted not too long ago that went into some of the detail centered around brute force password cracking. If you haven't seen it, you can find it on the channel. I'll try to remember to link it somewhere up here for ease of reference, but very important that you do that. Have you evaluated your password health? Think about banking institutions with which you deal, utility providers, cell phone, internet, Amazon.com. This is a partial list of resources, services that you should take a closer look at, and take a closer look at all of your passwords and consider whether or not they are secure. Let me get out of the way here and bring the content front and center. What do I mean by secure passwords? We are looking for something. Change this for a second here. Sorry about this. It's better. Looking for passwords that are more than 12 characters. You might immediately think, well, there's no way I'm going to remember something that is more than 12 characters long. The truth of the matter is you shouldn't remember most of your passwords. There should really be one, maybe two master passwords that you commit to memory, and those passwords allow you to get into a password management solution. In this video, we're going to focus on the iCloud Keychain being that password management solution. So you want your iCloud account secured by a very good password. Again, more than 12 characters, upper and lowercase letters, numbers, special symbols, special characters. You want that one to be really good. You want them all to be good, but that one really good, and that's the one you need to remember. Challenge yourself. There shouldn't be any dictionary resolvable phrases in that password. If I can look it up in the dictionary, then the chances of my ability to crack the password via tools that I think I'll highlight in some other videos is higher. You don't want to be the low-hanging fruit in this equation. As I said, include special characters. Don't use your brain to create your passwords. Inevitably, if you do that, you're going to create something that is resolvable via the dictionary, making them easier to crack. Use a password manager. For individuals, those tools are free. Certainly, the iCloud Keychain is available to you simply as a byproduct of having an iCloud account. It takes the swipe of a finger to enable it, which we'll get into in this video. And get a YubiKey. Get a YubiKey or equivalent U2FA device. So what about iCloud? Very simple to set this up on your iOS device. In fact, if you have an iOS device, you undoubtedly have an iCloud account. Sadly, though, I've learned that it's likely that you've bypassed setting up the iCloud keychain, but easily corrected if you haven't set it up, didn't set it up as a part of configuring your device. Very easy to deal with that situation. I have a screenshot here from my iPhone 10. All you need to do is go into passwords and accounts. I have some other screenshots here in other slides. You go through a process of enabling it, and then you are set. Why should you do this? Well, iCloud at that point becomes a central repository for your credentials, your usernames and passwords for websites, and as it turns out, the applications that you are using on those devices. So imagine, for example, let's assume you're a Bank of America customer, just to pick a company out of thin air. You go into the Bank of America app, and when you touch the user ID field in the app, you get presented with the opportunity to leverage the iCloud keychain for your credentials. So simply pick your user ID and password after presenting your face or your thumb or your index finger or whatever you're using to authenticate to the device, and those fields are filled in for you, and you're logged into the app. It's that simple, incredibly simple. This capability, and here are the other screenshots. So after going into passwords and accounts, you see your list of accounts under the autofill passwords slider. One of them will likely be iCloud. In the second image here, the middle image, you select iCloud, and then in this list you will see an option to turn on the keychain, which I've highlighted in the slide to the far, or the image to the far right here. But once you do that, any of your iOS devices, can be a Mac, can be an iPad, can be an iPhone, your credentials sitting here in iCloud now become available on all of these devices. So that Bank of America app, whether you're accessing it via the app or the website on any of these devices, you get to leverage that central repository for your credentials to authenticate and access your information. Now, your immediate thought might be, well, that sounds convenient, Ron, but it also sounds like my information is at risk. It's sitting out on the internet. What about that? Well, let's talk about that. Think about your iCloud account. I have the polygon there representing the iCloud account. One of the first things you do when you set up your new iOS device is to create one of these accounts or log into the account that you already have. You then create a password. Again, this should be a really good password that secures that iCloud account. But it doesn't stop there. The security is not only defined by that password. Security is also defined by a 6-digit code, a code on the device, which should be a minimum of 6 digits. You have the ability to make it longer, and this can also include letters, numbers, symbols. It gets even better than that. It doesn't stop there. And more on the security code in a moment, but your iCloud account is also secured by a second or an additional factor of authentication in the guise of a notification to you by Apple anytime another device is used to access, anytime another device attempts to access your iCloud account. So for example, let's say you have a Mac and an iPhone, and you've gone through this process. You go out, you buy a new iPad. Well, as you are configuring that iPad and you log in with your username, your password, you're going to be prompted for a couple of things. First, you're going to be prompted for that 6 or more digit code to authenticate to your iCloud account. And then you're also going to be prompted on one of those other devices that you've already set up for your iCloud account. You're going to get a notification from Apple that a new access attempt has been detected. It's going to tell you the location on the planet from which that access attempt is occurring. And you're going to have to approve that access attempt from one of your other devices in order for that to proceed. Now, in that example, you're buying a new iPad and you're adding it to your account. But think about, someone with malicious intent. They've got a new device. They're trying to get access to your information. They're going to be stopped in their tracks at that point because that notification, that additional factor of authentication, I'll call it, where you get a prompt, hey, is this you? If it is, enter yet another 6-digit code to prove that you have physical access to both of these devices. So this repository known as iCloud, and the fact that this iCloud keychain, which is the construct that actually contains your usernames, your passwords, etc. The fact that this keychain is sitting in the depths of the iCloud account, secured by all of these different layers, mitigates, really in a significant way, mitigates the ability for anyone to get access to it. Even Apple, all of these things are encrypted, and Apple doesn't hold the keys, right? You create the keys to unlock this content. Now, I said there would be more on that 6 or more digit code. It turns out that when you create that 6 or more digit code on your device, did you realize that as a byproduct of that, you are also encrypting the information on the device itself? So think about that. You lose the device, someone gets physical access to it. The information stored inside of it is encrypted. They can't do anything with it simply because you created this code. So encryption in iCloud, encryption on the device, multiple layers of authentication, super secure. Availability of login information across device, no matter where you are, via Safari, via applications that you've installed on the device. Ultimate convenience. This is really, really convenient technology, and I think everybody ought to be taking advantage of it. Really, I think it would really cut down on access to information by people who shouldn't have it in the first place. Right? So, yeah, let's move on. The iCloud account, as you probably know, or maybe I shouldn't make that assumption, contains a bunch of information. In this presentation, we're focused on the keychain, right? Remember, again, in the bowels of the iCloud account, the keychain having storage of usernames, passwords. If you choose, you can also have your credit card information there. Really convenient. Again, super secure, secured by all the same layers we've already talked about. but you're in Safari, you are on a website, you need to buy something, credit card information's there, you can surface it and make your purchase. Now, that assumes that that's a website that doesn't support Apple Pay. If you're on a website that does support Apple Pay, yeah, if you didn't realize, Apple Pay is available outside of just the device ecosystem now. You can be using a browser, Safari, be on a website, make a transaction, and Apple Pay is there for a growing number of sites, I should mention. So again, really convenient in spite of all of the layers of security. But the iCloud account contains all of these other things that you might be purchasing or may have purchased within the Apple ecosystem. So we've kind of talked through the advantages already. I think of this as a digital lockbox for important information, secured by multiple layers, with notification for any access attempts, cross-device convenience. We talked about websites and apps particularly benefit from this capability. And as you are signing up for new sites on any of these devices, you also get the advantage of having the machine generate passwords for you. Right? These are things that you are not going to remember, and you shouldn't remember them, but it doesn't matter because, again, they are stored in the keychain. They know what sites to which they apply, and when you're on those sites or in those apps, it automatically surfaces the information for you after authenticating with your face, your thumb, your index finger. So incredible convenience, major league safety. Make sure you are using Apple Keychain to secure your information and make it convenient for you to access the resources that you need. Now, obviously, nothing's perfect. We'll talk about disadvantages. The one big one is this only works, obviously, I think that's obvious. It only works across Apple devices. The Apple Keychain is an Apple-created solution, only available on Mac, iPhone, iPad. And that's to be expected, I think. I think that's logical, and nobody really should have a gripe about that, in my view. But let me know your thoughts, right? I hope that this video has been useful, and definitely hope it inspires you to take a closer look at the keychain, move forward with enabling it, get out of the business of creating passwords with your brain, and take better care of your information. Let me know what you think of the video in the comments. Share this video with your friends and your family. Talk about it over dinner. The password thing is a big deal, and I think more people need to take it more seriously. Be well, stay safe. You'll see me in the next one.